What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode 26 of The Rise of a Nation, here with FC Edmonton in the Canadian Premier League. Today it is another massive episode, but, and it's a big but, if you didn't watch last episode, please do go check it out before you watch today's video. I know I say it a lot, but last episode we did the first legs of the two cup games that we were in. They, of course, being the North American League and the Canadian Championship. Today we have the second leg of both of those fixtures, so naturally it makes sense to go and see how we did it in the first kind of legs of each of those games. Anyway, since we were last here, nothing has happened. It's been 3 days. Deadline day closed without any shock last-minute loan deals out. The only bit of news really is the fact that I elected not to include Karate in our registered squad. It is a big call because he's a very, very good striker, but I couldn't find a spot for him in the team. I just couldn't. We have strikers who I think are very good. Yes, he can play right midfield. Still not convinced about his overall ability playing there, just due to his passing and crossing. The good news is, whilst he was a little bit upset about it, I talked to him. I said, I'm going to get you in the team next time I can, because next time it comes round to register our team, we'll have a lot of players who have taken up Canadian citizenship, and then we'll have a spot for him. And he was happy with that. So compromises have been found. Right. Shall we get into today's game? I'm nervous about it. We're taking on Olympia, the Honduran side who, well, we beat 1-0 last time we met them, but it should have been more. I also need to sort out my team for today's game because I've still not done it. Off the back of last episode, of course, we had this team that played the previous game, which was, of course, against Vancouver. We need to change things back, and, well, we're going to be without Marshall, which is a bit of a big miss for us. The good news is there is plenty of strength in depth to bring in other positions, including, of course, Lovett, now back from injury, finally. Been out for a long time with that broken toe, 7 weeks. Feels like a long time, of course, with the Canadian season being around 6 months. Missing 8 weeks, 7 weeks, that is a good third of the season that's just suddenly gone and you've missed out on. The good news is, Lovett, he is back today, which is a bit of a relief, really. I'm just wondering if I want to change much else. I feel like we now have, for the first time during our time here at FC Edmonton, an established back three. ABZ at left centre-back, then, of course, Oyamada at right centre-back, and then Fraser down the middle. I feel like these three, they just work well together. I think, as I said, I think this is the first time I've looked at my defence and gone, yes, that is our back three. Of course, we've got players like Soria who we can bring in. Solomon, one of the players who does take up an international player spot, I probably would value now as our fourth best centre-back. The fact he can play defensive midfielder is why I didn't want to unregister him in order to include Karata. And, as you look further down the team, of course, we've still got players like Apare who can play centre-back, also Bogdanovic. And, there's just lots of options, really, at centre-back. But I feel like we now have a status quo taking shape. Ace Vado, still waiting for him to have a real impact at the club. Of course, joined us on a free transfer. Still finding his feet a little bit. We'll give him a bit of time. In the midfield, it's Regen Central, isn't it? Deshays, Mora and Karata. A little bit of interesting news, and it does scare me slightly. You might be like, 5 teams interested in Mora. What's happened? The big boys have found him, and they want him. And I don't want to lose him. He's got 4 years left on his current deal, but Liverpool interested, City interested, United interested, PSG interested, Tottenham interested. I've slapped a £20 million valuation on his head. I don't want to lose him. And the fact that so many big teams now want him makes me want to hold on to him even more, because he must be really blooming good if their scouts are recommending them. So, Carlos Mora, you're not going anywhere, son. At least not at the moment. I mean, if a £20 million bid came in, it might be difficult to turn down. But until that day comes, he is our player, and we're going to make the most of him. The Shays, of course, in for Marshall. Big boots to fill there in the centre of the midfield. It does also mean that Mossavat comes onto the bench for us. So it's good to see a few hometown heroes back in the team. Kay, still not 100% fit, unfortunately, but worth a spot on the bench. Obviously, we've got the likes of Duck, Edwini Bonsu, and also Solomon, who I already talked about on the bench, waiting in the wings. I don't think there's anyone else who I want to put on the bench here. I think we're pretty much at full strength, with the exception of the Marshall injury, which is a big one because he has been vital to how we play. But Well, let's get into this, shall we? I am genuinely nervous going into this about, well, how we're going to get on. It's not going to be easy. We come into this game with a crucial lead, and perhaps even more crucially, that clean sheet that we held on to. I do actually want to just check really quickly. I'm 99.999% sure that away goals are a factor in this competition, but it's probably worth just verifying. Yes, okay, away goals are used. So we'll know if we can get 1 goal here, they need 3. So that's kind of the motivation, I guess, to go forward and play on the front foot. We absolutely dominated the previous game against Olympia. Worth noting, they're not playing with wingers again. They're playing a narrow 4-1-2-1-2. Ball whipped in, Ace Vado with a header that was not far over. Karata with the ball in. But yeah, they're playing another narrow system, which I feel like suits us. So that's a nice sight to see, I guess you could say. ABZ's picked up a booking early on. He's got to be a little bit more careful now. He's going to be on thin ice for the best part of this game. About 70 minutes on a booking is not necessarily ideal for your centre-backs. So far in this game, we've been the better team. Can we make it count here? Karata, lovely ball in. Nick Daly, free header, wide of the mark. They're yet to have a shot on target, and we're having set piece after set piece. It's Karata again. Fraser, his header just goes over. It feels like we need to take one of these opportunities. We're not even hitting the target with a lot of these. At half-time, it stays 1-0. It's fine. They're not doing anything, but equally, much like in the first leg, it feels like when we're having the better of this play, we need to be finding a breakthrough if we can. Not happy, boys. Players are looking fired up, which is great to see. Has anyone really not been performing so far? It's kind of just been a quite mellow team performance. Duck is definitely a player we could bring on potentially for Hamilton if he can't book up his ideas as the advance forward. I feel like Duck, he's a bit better with his dribbling and the ball at his feet. He offers us something a little bit different in our strike force. Karata here, lovely ball to switch it over to Lovitz. What can you do, Lovitz? Into Hamilton. I mean, he's not coming off now, is he? He's just got us the goal. That's why it's worth just giving him a little bit of a chance in the second half to buck his ideas up. And there you go, Jordan Hamilton, 11th goal of the season. Karata switches the play to Lovitz, keeps it in superbly, near post. Hamilton, just a really subtle touch there to guide it into the far post. And with that, Olympia need 3. And I don't want to say we're through now. I'm significantly more relaxed than I was about a minute or two ago. Yes, that is massive for us to get this goal. And let's see if we can extend our lead further, perhaps while we are in the ascendancy here. Karata, the small Japanese winger. Well, striker cum winger. He beats his man. Is that a penalty? It's in the penalty area, allegedly. It looked a little outside to me, but we're not going to complain. There's no VAR here. Nick Daly, can you put them to the sword? He steps up, he hits it. 2-0. 3-0 on aggregate. They need 4. Job done. 35 minutes after, I just don't see in world of which they're going to get the 4 goals they require. Our number 9 steps up, cool, calm and collected. A bit of pressure on his shoulders with that penalty. And it's 2 goals in very quick succession to start the second half, which really put us in good stead. I mean, really now it'd be good to just extend the lead a little more, wouldn't it? Deshay's out to Karata, who's been an integral part of how we've played so far this game. Now with Mora, probably a few Premier League scouts in the ground looking at him to monitor his performance here. He's had a bit of a quiet game, really. They've got maybe a chance here, although ABZ reads it. I'm just wondering about subbing him off now he's on a booking. Probably best to avoid him being sent off for the next round of this competition. I'm also going to take off Deshay for Mosavat. Let's bring in one hometown hero for another. Hamilton. I mean, could we get a goal here? Dinks it into Daly, nods it, keeper saves it. Rebound is from a tight angle. He elects to pass. That was the better option. I appreciate that from Daly. Unfortunately, Karata can't beat his man. He looked like he got hacked down there. And, well, the ref decided he had done as well. Ball whipped in by Karata. Solomon. Fraser. Lovely finish from Liam Fraser, the centre-back. Right into the bottom corner. Keeper dived down for it. This I would consider a surprise. Olympia were a team who were in the North American Champions League to start this year. This is a team of the calibre that we kind of want to be striving towards. We want to be making it to the North American Champions League. So to be beating them 3-0 away from home is just great. You do have to wonder perhaps how much their heads have dropped knowing that this game has escaped them now. Mora hits it. Not far over at all. A shout out, by the way, to the 132 away fans who have made the trip to Honduras here. I appreciate their support more than they could ever know. Mora switches the play. Karate, he wants his own goal. He dinks it in. Hamilton, oh my gosh, Di Canio-esque. Can we discuss that? Karata with the assist. Maybe he's going to make me rue the day that I left him out of the squad for the league. But yeah, Kazunori Karata with the ball in. And there's just Jordan Hamilton. He's Di Canio. Look at that. Unbelievable technique on that volley. I absolutely love that finish. It's 4-0 on the night. It's 5-0 on aggregate. We want more Karatas like now. We're not done yet, Chief. He whips it in. They're going to clear it. Maybe a chance of a breakaway here for Alvarez. Unfortunately, with Olympia needing 6, even if they were to score now, it's going to merely be a consolation. The ball here with Paz at the back. Hit from range, hit over as well. It wasn't really ever looking like going in. 10 minutes left. I'm going to demand more from the players. Why not? Got one sub left. You know what? We're bringing Kay for Lovitz. Lovitz is struggling a little bit with his legs. Kay needs just a little bit of match sharpness. Not sure how much he really gains from playing the last 4 minutes of a match, but he's going to get the run out nevertheless. And while with 40 seconds left, I have a big smile on my face. I am very relaxed, and we are marching on in the North American League. Just as a reminder, with this result here, we go into the quarterfinals. If we can win our quarterfinal leg, we have a spot in the North American Champions League. Even if we lose the quarterfinals, we will play another loser of one of the other quarterfinals, and the winner of that will also get into the North American Champions League. So this is massive. This is uncharted territory we're going to be moving into. And well, with performances like this, there are going to be plenty of other teams quaking in their boots at the prospect of playing us. 5-0 it finished. You can see the other teams making it through. Alajuelense, Santa Tecla of El Salvador, Herediano of Costa Rica, Cibao of the Dominican Republic, Marathon of Honduras. I mean, I'll happily take them on if Olympia are the best that Honduras has to offer. You can see here Sporting San Miguelito of Panama, and also de Costa Rica. I guess that's University of Costa Rica. They also made it through. Great result for us there. And wow, we're going to be taking on the reigning champions of the North American League. A team who knocked us out last year. In fact, they're not the reigning champions. They were the previous 2 years. Last year, they lost that title. Yeah, Alajuelense, we meet again. And last time, we lost to them. So it's going to be a good gauge of our improvement. 2 years later, what progress have we made? You can see those games coming towards the tail end of August and the start of September. So we've got that second leg against Montreal to come up in just a second. And then, well, unless we can pull off a miracle, I feel like Alajuelense is going to be the game that we come back for next time. They are quickly becoming a little rival, aren't they? The Costa Rican side. It's exciting times here. And, well, hopefully we can make an unlikely turnaround in just a second. We're taking on Montreal. It's a week away. Future Jack, take it away. Okay, guys, so we're back here for the second leg against Montreal. And, well, we need a little bit of a miracle, don't we? We go into this game 3 goals down, knowing that we have to score at least 3. There has been one game since you were last here. It was against Valor, and it was somewhat disastrous. We lost 1-0. I did rotate the team a little bit, but even so, that doesn't really justify the loss. I feel like fixture congestion is something that we are going to have to put up with this year. It has very much been a factor so far. You can see Valor are going very, very strong. They are second in the league behind Forge by 1 point, but with 2 games in hand. yeah, they're good. So they slapped us around. They beat us 1-0. It was a kind of close game. You can see here we probably had the better of the play, but fair play to them. They got a goal. It came through this guy, Mendes Penna, who has had various loan spells in Belgium whilst rarely playing in the Canadian Premier League. So trust it to be the one game where he played against us. He turned up to be the hero. Anyway, shall we get into today's game? We know there's a lot to kind of, I guess, come back from here. Karata can't play this game. I don't know why I've even tried to submit him into the team there. I know that that's the case. For today's game, I think we'll start with Edwini Bonsu out on the wing. The back three is fairly standard. Connor James, of course, in goal. We're going to go with Solomon at defensive midfielder. We're then going to go with Lovitz, Deshays, Mora and Edwini Bonsu. Up top for today's game, I think we're going to go with Hamilton and Daly, just because they've been in the best goal-scoring form. I feel a bit bad for St. Duck, because he's really not played particularly badly. Just Jordan has been in fantastic form alongside Daly, so it's just impossible not to drop him right now. But let's see how we get on going on into today's game. I definitely feel like the wide areas are one of our causes for concern. Again, they're playing the same shape, the same shape that they played last time. Let's just go out there and play with no fear. Like, we need goals. We have to play on the front foot. Can we turn things around? We need a miracle. It's worth noting in the other semi-final, the Fury beat Toronto 3-1 in the first leg. So there is a chance that if we could make a miracle comeback happen, we would be taking on Ottawa Fury in the final, a team who we have beaten before. And of course, the winner of this cup competition does go into the North American Champions League directly, without having to qualify via the North American League like we have had to in the past. Anyway, early on here, 0-0. You'd have to say they've probably had the better of the play in terms of shots, but there's not been a highlight. It's really been devoid of any quality, this match so far. And it looks like it may even get to half-time without a goal, although maybe a chance here. Mora wins it. Can we spark a comeback? You'd feel like we have to score first in this. Daly switches the play. Hamilton's there. Can he finish it? That was the chance. That was their opportunity. Unfortunately, he couldn't quite get on the end of it. The cameraman doing our camera work was struggling to keep up with the play. The ball by Daly was great. Fortunately, it just didn't quite work out. I'm really tempted to switch to the 4-2-3-1. I'm really tempted to do this. I just feel like we're chasing the game now. We've not really got much to lose. If I was going to do it, how would I do it? I think I'd move Duck onto the right, Hamilton into the left, Daly in, Deshays up. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, isn't it? And then we could bring in Acevedo, maybe even to play deep line playmaker rather than ball-winning midfielder. I still want to work out how we'd actually make our centre-backs work, because we don't have great flexibility at centre-back. I don't think Fraser can play left or right. He can't, and Solomon can't either. Oh, this is where we lack fullbacks, and it's kind of a problem. You know what? Let's just go with something crazy, shall we? I've not got the players to make it work any other way, so this is what we're going to go with. In fact, Fraser, I mean, what is this formation? Desperate times, folks, call for desperate measures. Nothing to lose at all. I mean, if it works, I look like a tactical genius. I need a system that is more attacking, but equally a system that I don't feel like, we have to use all our subs to switch to. This is what we're going to go with. Obviously, there's no point in looking for the overlap, because there's no one to overlap. And then we're not going to distribute to our playmaker. We need to counter, out of possession, high line, that's all fine. More direct, play through the middle, hit early crosses. What can we do? We need a miracle. Let's just have a crazy roll of the dice. We've already mission accomplished this episode as far as I'm concerned by getting through to the next round of the North American League. It looks pretty there, doesn't it? 3-3-3-1. It's like The Wall. That's a really old reference, The Wall. If anyone gets that, you've been here a while. Thank you for continuing to watch. All the way since, FM 14 was The Wall. Oh my gosh, they're going to score. No, they're not. The woodwork's going to save us. Can we hit them on the break now? Run, Hamilton, run! He's not quite as fast as Lewis Hamilton, is he? Although that ball's good. Daly, please. They managed to hack the ball clear just about. Demand more from the players. Focused response. We need 3 goals in the next 28 minutes. It feels unlikely. They've got a set piece here. Ball whipped in. Connor James spills it. It's a disaster. It's a howler. It's a calamitous error by the keeper. I felt so sure Connor James was going to collect this cross in, and he just let it slip from his grasp. He wasn't even kind of contested for the ball. You hate to see it. I mean, the good news is we've been competitive on the night. The bad news is we came into this game 3 goals down. One last sub to be made. Who am I going to bring in? I'm going to bring in Mosavat, and we're going to bring him in for Fraser. Give him a little bit of a rest. And well, now really we need to stop planning ahead to the Alajuelense. I can't say the team's name. Alajuelense game. It's a mouthful. When we draw them for like a 6th time in the qualifiers, maybe then I'll be used to it. But yeah, Alajuelense is going to be next episode in the North American League quarterfinals. It's a massive game. They've won the competition twice in the last 3 years. We're probably underdogs, at least based on historical data. And we need to try and put this result right here to the back of our minds. Although 1-0 on the night is actually okay. Unlucky, boys. Unlucky. That game is not going to define our season. Ottawa Fury through on penalties. The USL Championship rejoices. And I don't know how to feel about that. I'm a little bit disappointed to lose the game 1-0. It's 2 defeats in a row, and our recent form suddenly doesn't look so pretty. Although I guess when you look at the actual opposition, you realise it's not too much of a cause for concern. Anyway, we've got 4 league games before we go into the North American League quarterfinals, so I will join you guys after those. It's a chance to readjust, refocus, go into that game with a bit of a clear head, hopefully find our feet a little more in the Canadian Premier League with a few matches in hand. And, well, of course, hopefully I'll see you guys for that one. If you have enjoyed today's video, do drop a like on it. I'll see you again soon. It is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.